Hi, I'm Dana, and today I just really want to do a really chill little life update and just talk about some stuff I've been up to. Just very relaxed, probably not all that interesting for most people, but for those of you that do find it interesting, that's what we're doing. And I'm very, very snuggly with Otis, which we can take as the first point, which is that I rehomed my other cat, Ali, and it's one of those things that, like, I'm very, very sad about it. I think I'm gonna miss her a lot. I feel really, really, really bad about it. I really don't like having to rehome pets, obviously. But I also know that in the long run for her, it's definitely like the best choice that I could have made, you know? She's gonna be a lot safer, a lot happier, just generally be doing a lot better. I managed to find really, really great owners for her that have come and visited a bunch and left her a blanket to get used to their scent, and they're gonna like build her a whole little area to be in. Like obviously she's gonna be allowed in the whole house, but they were also saying that they're gonna do like this whole built-in area that she's gonna get to play in. Like, she's gonna be much, much better off. But obviously it's always really fucking horrible to have to rehome a pet, and especially when it's like I've had a few people leave really nasty comments to me like, oh, why did you get pets if you can't keep them? And it's like, I had Ali and Jodie, her sister, for like 10 years pretty much. Like, Jodie I had to rehome right when I was moving into this place just over a year ago, and Ali, obviously, like, I tried really, really hard to keep her and it just really wasn't working. She took an absolute chunk out of Otis a couple of months ago. They didn't get on very well. My housemate keeps leaving poisonous plants in the bathroom, and as some sort of like petty little point he likes to make, he refuses to close the door, so I got really worried about that regard, because he doesn't eat plants but Ali did. But you know, like, I got all of my pets. I say all of my pets, I had 4 cats and I got them when I was in like a very stable relationship, and like everything looked like it was going to remain that way, you know. I didn't know that my life was going to turn out this way, but it has. So I'm definitely in a better position to be able to just care for one cat and give him all of my time and love and affection. And I do feel super mean that I kept him and not Ali, to be honest, because obviously he's still a kitten to me. He was born during lockdown, so he is like 4, but he's still like a tiny wickled baby to me, because when he was born he got a really bad flu. I also, like, I'd taken in his mum as a stray cat and didn't know she was pregnant. That wasn't on me. And then she had these babies and I was like, we've got kittens, and he got really, really ill, so I was having to wake up every 2 hours through the night and look after him and feed him. And like, I spent so much time with him straight off the bat from the moment that he was born. Like, I cannot part with this cat. He is my baby, he's my child. I would do anything to make sure he's okay. So he's staying with me forever and ever and ever. He is not going anywhere. But I did have to rehome Ali, and luckily that's one of the only like sad things that I really have to talk about. No, it's not. The other thing's like not like sad, it's just annoying. So obviously I'm looking to move. I'm hoping to move at the end of next month, and I think we're probably gonna manage to spring it. But we've only viewed one place so far, me and the friend that I'm going to move in with, and they wanted us to pay £3,600 up front. No. Like, for one, it was not that nice of a place, you know. Like, it was nice, but it was pretty small and stuff. Like, it was not pay that much money up front. It was £900 a month, which we could have like just about afforded. I could have just about afforded, my friend's fine. And it's made me realise that I'm in a financial situation where a lot of landlords are not going to want to take me, and I think that my friend might have to like be like sole tenant or something. I do very luckily have my one other friend who is able to act as guarantor, but it's gonna be a bit more stressful than I expected, I think. I also had a few people ask how I'm going to move, and it's one of those things where I don't want to act like it's a stupid question, but I'm also like, I put my things in boxes and I move them to the new place and take them out the boxes again. Like, I move house. I don't know what kind of answer I'm supposed to give. And like I say, I don't think there are stupid questions, but it's a very like simple thing, obvious thing for me, and I'm very aware that that comes from like being someone who's moved house a whole bunch of times throughout my life. But I put my shit in boxes and I move them to the new place. Like, it's super stressful and it takes a good while, but like, it's really that simple. I've gotten to see quite a few shows and musicals recently, which has been really, really amazing for me. I love musicals. I love getting to see live performances, and being someone who doesn't have an awful lot of money, I don't get to do it all that often. I see people all the time that manage to get like tickets for the Empire Theatre for like a £5, and I'm like, how are you doing that? I can't figure out how to do that. All the tickets that I see are like £30+. But the perks of having a best friend that's disabled is that I get to like go in and be like, hi, I'm their carer, I'm their companion, I'm here with them. So a lot of the time my ticket's free, and we can just either like they pay for their ticket, or we just go halves on their ticket and I get to go in for free. So I've seen quite a few things, and it's one of those things where like the highlight, the perk, the point of it is that I get to spend some time with my best friend and we get to engage in something together. But obviously I'm also getting to see a show, and I love that. So we went all the way to London. We stayed there overnight to see 2 different shows, and I technically have been to London twice before. I went once when I was in high school. We went to see Wicked. So like I went with the school, you know, like the coach pulled up outside the theatre and we all got off the bus and went into the theatre and saw the show and came out of the theatre and got back on the bus. Like I didn't see any of London. And then the second time was in 2019 when Bikini Kill played in the UK for the first time in like 27 years, and I was like, I cannot miss that. So I went and I got the coach. I got on the coach at like 11 a.m. I got to London at like 5 or 6, I think it was. I then had to like get a further bus to Brixton, which I hadn't expected and didn't know like what the fuck I was doing, and it was so scary. Got to see Bikini Kill, got in a taxi to get back to the coach station in time because I was absolutely bricking it that I was going to be late and get stuck in London, and like I don't know how I would have gotten home if that happened. And then got on the coach and got back to Liverpool at like 6 a.m. the next morning. It was one of the worst travel experiences of my entire life. It was exhausting. I mostly just remember being on the coach at home and trying desperately to like cover my body because I was just freezing cold. I couldn't sleep. It was horrible. It was truly horrible, but it was so worth it to see Bikini Kill. But obviously it still feels like I didn't see any of London. I just got off the bus and saw the show and got back on. So I was quite looking forward to getting to like go through and actually see some things and explore some places. I didn't end up being actually excited when we were there. I absolutely hated it. Like I always feel like I'm somewhat used to cities because like I live in Liverpool, I go to Manchester fairly often, like I'm in cities. But like even going to Manchester, I'm like, oh, this is like a city compared to Liverpool. And then going to London, I was like, this is too city, this is too much. There's people everywhere. There is not a single, like, even if you go up an alleyway, there is still people there chatting and doing stuff. Like, there is literally not a single quiet space that doesn't have people in it. Everything's expensive, everything's a bit too much, there's too much going on everywhere, people don't look where they're going and everyone just like bumps into each other constantly. We couldn't find any fucking train, like tubes, we couldn't find accessible fucking places, so we had to get taxis. It was just a bit of a nightmare. And my best friend like lived in London for a good bit when they first came to the UK, so they were trying to show us like various places that they really liked, and they just weren't the same as they used to be and weren't particularly impressive. And like I wasn't expecting London to be like amazing, you know, like I've been to LA now. I didn't expect it to be like that good, but I also didn't expect LA to be that good. I didn't expect to love LA, and I absolutely adored LA. Like I want to go back to California so bad, but like I do not want to go back to London. The upside of it though was that we saw Hadestown on the first day that we were there. I loved it. It was so good. I've never been like a Greek mythology person, so I only knew the story from my friend like explaining it to me on the way there, and oh, it was mwah, it was beautiful. Like I feel like it's very, I'm not someone who's going to be disappointed with a live performance unless it's like a really bad live performance, you know, like as long as the musicians and the actors and singing and stuff's alright, I'll be happy enough. But when you get something that has like a genuinely great plot that like really draws you in, you know, like I forgot that I was in a theatre, I forgot that I was watching a live performance, I was just like there experiencing it. It was so good. I would heavily recommend like listening to the soundtrack, and there's probably a bootleg somewhere. I'm not saying that you should do things illegally, but it's a really, really good show. And the thing with a lot of theatre for me is that like it is quite inaccessible, you know, like even for me personally, like I don't get to see things very often. It's very, very special and exciting when I do. So I've watched a lot of bootleg shows. It's the only way that I get to watch a lot of things that are only live, you know? And then on the second day we got to see the Spirited Away like live show from Japan, like with the original Japanese actors, so it was subtitled, and I really there were elements of it that I really, really, really enjoyed, and there were elements of it that I thought were really amazing and really, really well done. And then there were like, I didn't love the way that the puppetry was done. Like, the people doing the puppets were amazing and the puppets were incredible, but it was the costuming mostly. The people that were like, doing the puppetry were just very obvious for me. And I'm not saying like put them in like a black morph suit or something, but like I feel like it could have been a bit more discreet. But I also don't really know why I'm shitting on it, because I did massively enjoy it, and it was an amazingly well put together show. And like, I already really like the Spirited Away movie, so like it was gonna be something I enjoyed to some point, you know. And it was a great experience to get to see live. I'm really glad that I got to see it. And I think I said that was a couple of weeks ago, and then not last night but the last night before that I got to go and see Six at the Empire, and that was another one that I have like slight quibbles about, and I don't want to be bitchy about it, but I'm gonna go into it because I adored the performance. Like, the people that were performing were incredible. They gave like the performances of their fucking lives as far as I'm concerned. Like, they were amazing, but some of the writing just really didn't sit right with me. And when we came out, I was like, it just feels like it was written by a man, you know. And they're doing this whole like, yeah, empowering women, yeah, women together, but it's just, it doesn't feel like it's genuine. It feels like it was written by a man. And my friend was like, well, yeah, it's written by a man. And I was like, oh well, that explains that. Next up, if you've watched like my body doubling videos, you will have heard a bit about this, but just I want to include it because it's something I've been getting up to. It's part of the life update. So I've been going to church. I've been going to my local Unitarian church, and it's one of those where I still wouldn't necessarily like call myself a Unitarian or like consider myself to like be a part of that label or whatever, but I really like going. And of course today is Sunday, so I did go today, and today was the congregational lunch. And it's been really nice that like each week when I go, I sort of like, I speak to the people I've already met because I like the people I've already spoken to. I want to speak to them more, you know. But I've also been speaking to like various new people most of the times that I go, and it's really nice to have the experience of feeling like I am like a little bit more integrated, a little bit more part of things each time that I go. And that was what I was really hoping would happen, because obviously, like, as with one of my most recent videos, and like a lot of us feel, it can be very hard to feel like we fit in and belong in places, or at least I find it very difficult to feel like I fit in and really belong in places. So being able to get that like incrementally and be like, oh okay, yeah, like, you know, that's how it's supposed to work. It has always weirded me out when places are too welcoming and immediately like accepting you and are like, yeah, you do fit in here. It's like, no, I should kind of have to like work for a little bit, you know, like you should have to like see that I am a decent person and stuff before you're just like, yeah, we accept you. And I feel like that's what's going on, and I like that a lot. It's been really nice to get to speak to like really interesting people, honestly, who are there for like the same sort of goals and reasons that I am, and that's very nice. And the minister's also lent me two like really nice cameras, and he's lent me them mostly because I want to like do more like community work within the church and help out a little bit and stuff, because I just like helping people. I like doing stuff, and I think it'll be a good thing for me to like get out and meet more people and be a part of the community, you know. So I'm gonna hopefully be taking some like various pictures of the church when they're doing weddings and stuff, because like obviously people are taking pictures of like the bride and the groom, so I'll get to take pictures of the church. And that's one of the things I'm really looking forward to, actually, because I really enjoy like the architecture of churches and the way churches look. It's just everything else that comes with them that I'm not usually the biggest fan of myself. But it's really nice. I'm really enjoying going. I really like the other people that are there, and I feel like it is something that I'm going to do for like a prolonged amount of time, you know, because as much as I don't personally like believe in God, I'm not really down with that. I do think that there is some sort of like higher power of some sort, and I do think that like it's important to be a nice person, you know. I think people should be kind to each other. I think everyone should be respected. I think that everyone should be accepted. I just think that you should be nice to each other, and it kind of sucks that it feels like I have to find a church setting to find people that are like that. But I am glad that it's not like a super Christian, God-focused Catholic sort of setting like I've experienced in the past and not personally resonated with. I also always find it really weird that people, like, I've had quite a few comments from people saying how nice it is that I'm able to like talk about religion this relaxed and stuff, and it's always been really strange to me that religion is like such a controversial topic. Like, obviously I think it stems from the fact that I don't have like a strong belief in like this is the right thing to believe. I suppose if you do, it's more obvious or whatever, but I just don't feel like it should be that difficult to share what you believe and hear what someone else believes and be like, cool, yeah, Like, we don't know who's fucking right. We may as well all just accept each other and be like, yeah, maybe, go for it, you know? As long as we're trying to be nice to each other, I don't see an issue. And finally, as is always my life, I've been watching a lot of stuff. I rewatched like all of the Kevin Smith films. I watched a whole bunch of stuff with people out of Kevin Smith films in, and then I watched the Madness in the Method for the first time. Madness in the Method, and I don't know how I missed that coming out. It's Jason Mewes' like directorial debut. It's the first thing he's directed, and I fucking love Jason Mewes. I don't know how I missed this coming out, but it's one of my new favourite films. I've watched it like 4 times. I absolutely adore it. It's fantastic. I really enjoyed it. And in like just watching stuff that has people out of Kevin Smith films in, I've also started watching My Name is Earl, and that's one of the things that I've heard a bunch about and always been like, it just doesn't sound like it's for me. This is so mean, but I don't like the way that Jason Lee aged, okay? I think that he is like the cutest, prettiest little man that I've ever seen in my life in like Chasing Amy and Mallrats. I was initially like thoroughly repulsed by him as Earl, I won't lie, but he's massively growing on me, and I'm like, oh, look at his cute little face. I don't even care that his hairline's like destroyed. Looks shouldn't matter so much, but I just thought that he was the cutest person I'd ever seen in my life, and then I was like, oh, he's awful now. But the more I watch it, the more I'm like, oh no, he's still baby, isn't he? And obviously, the new season of Doctor Who started up, and the first few episodes, I fucking loved. I really don't know why people were talking shit about the space babies. I loved that. I loved all of the shit with Maestro. I loved getting the Beatles. I loved the little dog song. This last episode that came out on Friday night, because it's on fucking midnight now and it's ruining my sleeping pattern, I really didn't like it. The 73 yards, I really didn't enjoy it. I really didn't like it at all. It felt like the ending completely ruined it for me. It felt like it was really leading somewhere and it was going to be really fascinating and I was going to be really interested, and then it didn't lead anywhere near where I wanted it to go. I don't want to do spoilers because this episode has like just come out, but it just really didn't, it felt like such a cop-out ending, you know? I really didn't like it. I feel like there's a lot of things that they didn't explain with that ending, and I'm just not all that impressed. But really quickly, I wasn't going to do this, but I want to show you my Puppet Tusk puppets. Oh, I'll show you my set as well. I've got to work a bit more on this once I've like edited and posted this video. So for anyone that didn't catch it in one of my other videos, my best friend said the only way that I could get them to watch Tusk, which is one of my absolute all-time favourite films and by far my favourite horror movie. Please don't eat any of these, Otis. They said the only way that I'm ever going to be able to convince them to watch it is if I made it out of paper puppets, and I was like, bet. So they get better as I went along. I shouldn't have made Justin Long first. So, but I'm trying my best. So here we have Wallace. I'm proud of these, I can't lie. I was gonna be like, they could be better and they could be like this and they could be that. I'm really proud of these. There's Wallace. They've all got googly eyes. It's Justin Long. You can like, I'm proud of them. I'm sorry. Next up we have, oh, come here. I don't even remember what his fucking name was in Tusk, I won't lie to you, but it's Haley Joel Osment. See, I have to like get it perfectly lined up, and then they are really easy to move. But getting them perfectly lined up on holding them up and showing you is difficult. It'll be a lot more easy when I've like blue tacked them to the set and shit. Wallace's girlfriend, played by Genesis Rodriguez, I believe. Rodriguez? I'm shit with names. But she's a little more funky. I might remake her mouth. But we trying, okay? We trying. She's here. This one okay, the next couple I'm kind of proud of, but one of them takes more explaining. So we've got Michael Parks, obviously. No, is that his name? Have I made that up? I don't normally film for quite as long as I have here, and I don't feel like I usually speak quite as much in the time that I have, and it feels like it's like ruined my brain. But it's the guy that's going to turn Wallace into what he becomes. It's the guy that transforms Wallace. I'm going to have to try and figure out some way to get their mouths to move at the same time. But here we have the Colleens. There we go. And so that one's Harley Quinn Smith, and this one's Lily Rose Depp. There we go. I'm proud of these. Like, I'm sorry, but that looks like them. Like, I have kind of nailed that, to be honest with you. I'm really proud of myself for that one. And finally, I didn't want to make a puppet of fucking Johnny Depp. I try not to say controversial things in my videos, and especially when it comes to celebrities, because especially with the whole Johnny Depp v Amber Heard thing, I feel like is a super like controversial thing to talk about. But I really think that he did her dirty. I really don't think he's a nice guy. I really don't support him or anything that he does. So I didn't want to spend like 3 hours making a paper puppet of him for the character that he plays in Tusk, you know? And especially considering it's not even like Kevin Smith like was properly like, oh yeah, it needs to be Johnny Depp. He asked someone else first, and then he was like, oh well, my kid's best friends with Johnny Depp's kids, so I've recast. And my thought pattern was, well, if Kevin Smith had also not wanted to cast Johnny Depp, or if Johnny Depp had said no, who would Kevin Smith's next port of call have been? Ben Affleck, obviously. So we've got Ben Affleck, and I did his little pink nose and the outfit that Johnny Depp wore in Tusk, so you can tell that he is like, what's his name, like Guy Lapue or some shit. I don't do names, okay? Like, I have watched Tusk like probably upwards of, I would honestly say probably close to 100 times since I first saw it. Like, I've watched Tusk a lot. I just don't fucking pick up people's names. But yeah, it's Ben Affleck. And finally, here's the Nazi party sets. This is so dodged to anyone that hasn't seen Tusk. But yeah, I may as well just show you. And now he's at work at the Nazi Party podcast. It's gonna work out, I swear to you. If it fucking kills me, it's gonna work out. But for now, that's my update. That's what I've been up to, honestly. I've gone to a couple of shows, I've watched a few TV shows, and I've made those. That's been my life, that's what I've been up to, and I've gone to church. So clearly I'm an extremely well-rounded individual doing really well at life. You know, doesn't everyone spend hours and hours and days creating paper puppets so that they can recreate their entire movie that they like, that most people hate and find kind of traumatizing? It's gonna be good, okay? It's gonna be really, really good. I'm calling it Puppet Tusk. Like, it's like puppet and tusk all as one word. It might not be the best thing to call it, but that's what it is in my mind at this point. It just is Puppet Tusk, okay? So that's that. Since you've listened to a whole big long ramble about my life, if you want to leave me a life update from what you've been up to, anything you've enjoyed lately, anything you've been struggling with, I would love to hear from you in the comments. I still suck at answering comments. It makes me so anxious to reply to, like, even I barely even reply to fucking messages from friends, okay? It makes me anxious to reply to stuff. But I do read them all, and I really enjoy reading them, and I really appreciate you leaving them. So if you would like to, you can. I post videos here on Tuesdays, Thursdays and Sundays, so if you would like to subscribe, I would love that. You know, I do post this content in the hope that people actually see it. Oh, I've got a weed growing out of my windowsill, and I feel like I should probably pull it, but it's flowered and bees keep landing on it. It's really pretty and cute. You can also follow me over on TikTok or Instagram if you would like to see more content from me. If you would like to get early content, you can follow me over on Patreon and donate me some money each month. And if you don't want to have to do it each month, you can donate to me over on Ko-fi, where it's just a little one-time thing. But there is absolutely no pressure for you to pay me. I always want my content to be free, especially when it's stuff like this. Like, you're not really getting much from this. This is kind of, it feels very vain, to be honest with you. But I didn't really have another video idea, and I feel like some of you guys actually are vaguely interested in what I get up to and how I feel about things and stuff. So I hope somebody found this entertaining or interesting or something. I hope someone enjoyed it. And I'm gonna go, because, oh baby boy, Otis is just being so cute. I think he was kind of always meant to be a little kitty cat on his own, and I just want to put all of my love and affection and attention into him forever and ever and ever. But so yeah, I'm gonna go. Whoever you are, wherever you are, I hope you're having a lovely morning, evening, day, afternoon, week, month, year, and I will see you again in a couple of days.